There are moments in history, so dangerous, that empires try to bury them beneath stone and blood, because Rome did not fear swords alone. Rome feared men who could sing in chains. And somewhere, in the crowded streets of Philippi, beneath the smell of burning oil, wet cobblestone, sweat, and iron, a young girl walked, with a voice that did not belong to her. Not madness, not performance, something darker. She followed Paul and Silas through the market streets, day after day, her feet bruised against Roman stone, her hair tangled from neglect, her eyes carrying the exhaustion of someone trapped inside her own body. And yet, her voice pierced the city like a blade. These men are servants of the Most High God. Again, and again, and again. The merchants heard it, the soldiers heard it, and the slave owners smiled every time she spoke, because every scream made them richer. Every prophecy bought another coin, another customer, another desperate Roman. Philippi was a proud Roman colony, disciplined, wealthy, military-minded, a city where power was worshipped almost as much as Caesar himself. And hidden beneath that polished Roman order was greed, cold greed, the kind that can hear suffering and still count profit. Paul tried to ignore her at first, perhaps because compassion is heavy, especially when helping someone may cost you everything. But the voice kept following, morning, night, street after street, until finally, Paul stopped. The market noise softened. Even the wind seemed to hesitate. The girl stood trembling, not free, not whole, trembling. And Paul turned toward her, with tired eyes, the eyes of a man who had already suffered beatings, rejection, imprisonment, and yet still carried authority. Rome could not understand. Then came the command, not loud, not theatrical, just absolute. In the name of Jesus Christ, come out of her. And suddenly, silence, the kind of silence that terrifies people, because for the first time in years, the girl's face became her own again. No screaming, no torment, only breath, only shock, only freedom. But freedom is dangerous when someone profits from your chains. The owners saw it immediately. Not mercy, not healing, loss, coins disappearing, power disappearing, control disappearing, and rage spread through Philippi faster than truth ever could. The accusations came quickly. These men disturb our city. They teach unlawful customs. The crowd did not need evidence. Crowds rarely do. Fear and profit are enough. Roman hands grabbed Paul and Silas violently. Fish struck flesh. Sandals scraped against stone. Angry voices echoed through Philippi. And somewhere in the chaos, the freed girl disappeared into the crowd. Free. But the men who freed her were dragged toward suffering. The dungeon beneath Philippi was not built for mercy. It smelled of mold, rusted iron, wet stone, human fear. Cold water dripped endlessly from the ceiling, like time itself was decaying underground. The jailer shoved them inward violently. Chains scraped against bruised skin, iron locked around swollen wrists, and somewhere above them, life in Philippi continued. People laughed. Coins exchanged hands. Torches burned warm in Roman homes. But underground, pain breathed heavily in the dark. Paul's back burned from the beatings. Silas struggled to steady his breathing against the ache in his ribs. No audience remained now. No crowds. No miracles. Just darkness. Just wounds. Just silence. And this is where most men break. Not in public suffering. In private exhaustion. At midnight, when pain becomes honest, the jailer listened from nearby shadows. A hardened Roman man, trained to fear disorder more than death itself. He had seen criminals curse gods before, seen men beg, seen men scream. But then, something impossible happened. Singing. Not loud at first, not triumphant, just fragile praise, echoing through wet stone corridors. Paul's bruised voice trembling against the darkness. Silas joining slowly. 2 wounded men, singing inside chains. The other prisoners listened carefully, because suffering understands sincerity, and somewhere beneath the earth, the atmosphere began to change. Then suddenly, the earth moved, not gently, violently. Stone cracked beneath Roman certainty. The prison walls trembled. Iron chains slammed against rock. Dust exploded through the corridors. The foundations themselves shook. Doors burst open. Chains fell. And the jailer woke in terror. Because Roman law was merciless. If prisoners escaped, their blood would become his responsibility. Fear swallowed him instantly. Not fear of death. Fear of failure. Fear of shame. Fear of Rome. He drew his sword quickly. One final decision. Beneath collapsing stone. But before steel could fall, Paul's voice thundered through the darkness. Do not harm yourself. The jailer froze. His hands trembled as he stared into the impossible. Every prisoner remained. No escape. No revenge. Only mercy. And suddenly, the strongest man in the prison became the weakest. What must I do to be saved? Not asked with pride. Not asked with Roman confidence. Asked like a drowning man, gasping for air. Because somewhere between the chains, the earthquake, the singing, and the mercy, the jailer realized something terrifying. These men carried a freedom Rome could never manufacture. And perhaps that is why empires fear worshippers. Because chains lose power when suffering learns how to sing. Some chains break loudly. Others break slowly, in silence, deep inside the soul. And perhaps tonight, someone listening is standing inside their own prison, not made of iron, but fear, shame, exhaustion, hidden wounds, and still, the same midnight song echoes through history, not denying pain, not escaping suffering, but transforming darkness into worship. Selah.